Hello everybody and welcome to the Device Doctor. If it's your first time here, I'm not an electronics technician, just a guy who likes rolling up his sleeves and giving broken devices a second chance. From dead phones to retro computers, I'm all about practical fixes and a bit of DIY spirit. And for those of you popping back, cheers for sticking around. You know how it goes, we've got tea on the boil, tools at the ready, and another gadget begging for a bit of TLC. Whether it's a cracked screen or a device that's completely given up the ghost, we'll have a go at sorting it. So if you fancy learning a few tricks, having a laugh and watching me occasionally stuff things up, hit the like and subscribe button. With the compulsory plug out of the way, let's head over to the bench and meet today's device. Hello everybody. Today on the bench we have a Game Gear. 1990s console. This is a VA0 board, I believe. Has a couple of issues with it. So I know that the screen is not particularly good in this one. We also have a bit of a power on, power off issue. So it tries to power up, but then just shuts down immediately. Does the same thing if we take the cartridge out, as we can see. The soundboard is fine in this one. The problem could be on the power board, it could be on the main board, but we'll have a look at that and see what we can do there. So what is the plan? The plan is an extensive refit and remodel, you might say. So I have a new clean screen from Retro 6 to install in this. Also have a CleanJuice, so that will replace the power board and the need for batteries in this, which should make it a much more economical console to run. These things can go through batteries like they're going out of fashion. I also have a new game cartridge slot for it, again from Retro 6, and then we have a complete new body for it as well. So a new facelift, if you like, again from Retro 6. Not sponsored by Retro 6, although you might have thought so by the bag. Bought all these out of my own money. I just happen to like their gear. I have installed screens, IPS screens from like AliExpress in these before as well, and they seem to work alright as well. But never installed the Retro 6 gear, but it does look good. So okay, so first things first, I need to take this apart and actually figure out what's wrong with it. Okay, so to take these apart is actually really simple. You literally have a 6 Phillips head screws, one here, 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 and here, and then one game bit screw there. That's basically all that holds this actually together. So okay, so the composition of these is pretty straightforward. It's a fairly modular design. This is the power board over here, you have the soundboard here, and then the main board here. This is the actual fluorescence tube, which backlights the LCD screen, and your game cartridges here. This particular, I don't know if you can see that there, but this particular board is a V0. So 2 ASIC board. There is actually a single one as well, I believe. I haven't actually come across one of those yet. So these wires are for the speakers, sound, and their power. Okay, so we'll just start stripping this out. We don't need the shield. We actually have a new shield in here. So what I will do first is I'm just going to put the main board to one side, and I'm going to take the soundboard out of here and put it into this one, because we will be keeping that. To get to the soundboard, we need to actually take this shield off here as well. Again, this is just Phillips head screws, so not particularly difficult to do. We've got 4 of them to take out. I am keeping the screws for this because there's quite a few of these Game Gears. I think I've got another couple of them coming actually that need work on them, and quite often you find that screws are missing or pieces of the case are missing. The normal thing you find missing is the battery cover on these things. Now, to take the soundboard out, there's actually 2 screws here and here. Not going to worry about the power board at the moment. As I said, we're going to be installing the CleanJuice one, so not much point in worrying too much about that. Now, the good thing about these kits from Retro 6 is they come with everything, all included. So, and the actual shield has already been modified for the actual new screen and that to go in, so that's really good. So I'm just going to put that over there for 1 second. Grab 2 of these very small screws. And put that back in there so we don't lose it. Now, one thing I will say is when you're dealing with new cases, you need to be a little bit careful, especially if you're doing the somewhat cheaper cases from like AliExpress. Quite often these mounting points haven't been, that was silly of me, these mounting points haven't been threaded, or they don't line up quite accurately. This one seems to line up really well, which doesn't surprise me given it's a Retro 6 one. But you also don't want to over tighten these as well, okay, because they will cause problems if you over tighten them. You can snap the plastic. So while we're here, we can open this up and have a quick look at this board. I don't believe there's anything specific I need to do with this board apart from put it in the case. And I think that actually just goes in there. That's for the USB charger. Let's put that way around. Yep. There you go. So just put that cover over there. Actually, it's a pity I don't have some bright red PLA, because you know it's going to be the only thing that doesn't 100% match this. But that's all right. It's all good. I just had this a minute ago. Why isn't it not going? Why is it not going on now? There it is. That's it. And I will need the it should be in here. There it is. I just pull those out. There is a power button there as well. So I shouldn't need to do much more than just put those in place, like so. Let's check that works. Yep. And then grab a couple more of these small screws and put that board in. Now, RetroSix do have a new soundboard that you can put in this. I believe they even have new PCBs for the main board. I didn't opt for the soundboard on this because I believe the soundboard in this one's already working, and if that doesn't work, I do have a spare literally sitting on the shelf. So gotta say, I do like the way he does these. It just feels really nice. Alright, so in theory, that is the back ready to go. The front, I'm not sure if we... No, I think we need to actually undo the cables. Obviously that one goes in that side, this one's going there. I think we actually have to remove and just pop these out. It's a bit stiff. Yep. Obviously we will need to take out the battery springs and these connectors here as well. I'm not sure if they just pull off or are they soldered on. Yes, they are soldered on. I'm going to need to unsolder these points here so that I can slide them out the case, but I will be keeping these battery terminals because you never know when they're going to come in useful for another project. Great believer in reusing parts rather than just getting rid of them for the sake of getting rid of them. So hopefully this all comes off without me damaging any plastic. Should do. Yep. Watch my fingers. I actually feel a little bit uneasy about doing these sort of things when it's a brand new case. I mean, the workmanship on this case is really good, so you know, kind of don't want to spoil anything. But you know, it is what it is. So I'm just going to grab a pair of pliers so that I can hopefully just straighten these up a little. I'll actually use the little device here. And then I should, in theory, at least be able to sort of work these out. There we go, that's that one. We can reuse them later. So I now need to figure out how we do this. So that should go through there like so. Yep. don't think there's any particular polarity on these, but I could well be wrong. Plus and minus there and there. Yep. Oh, look at that. Even lights up. Won't plug that one in just yet. Need to feed this one through. Think about this. So I'll have to go around there, So probably. Probably be better going through that way, wouldn't it? Let's suggest it goes through there. That was fun. Try that again. Let me put these on the right way around. Saves the battery's falling out. So you may not be able to see it, but actually on the board here, just about here, on each side and this side of each of these terminals, there's a little plus sign to let you know which way around to plug them in. Now, I want to run them behind these posts and these wires, behind these posts, so that they're not actually impacting on anything. And then I think I should be able to run them over the top of here and get in there, that there. Not really. Maybe. Hopefully you guys can still see this, but yeah, pushed in there quite nicely. That's actually down there. They should be out of the way of anything. There. Now, if I switch that on, in theory, these three lights should light up. Look at that. Cool. What I might do is, just to give you a bit better look at that and at that board, I might just switch over to the mic. Sorry about this, everybody. It wasn't until reviewing the footage later that I realized that my microphone had developed a fault and switched itself off. So what I'm doing here is just showing you a quick close-up of the board, and as you can see, under these power connectors for the batteries, there's a number of LEDs that will show the status of the board, as well as next to the main power connector to the PCB, there's a 34 volt switch there, which allows you to actually disable the 34 volt rail, which is not needed if you're using a modern screen. It's only really needed if you're using the old screen. And there's a couple of LEDs next to the USB charging port to actually show you indicator of charge and that. At this point, I think I'll call it a do on this video, and we'll review the next part of the video in part 2, where I'll install the clean screen into this device. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and share, and feel free to comment. Thank you very much.